All right, we're going to continue solving systems by elimination, but we're going to go and continue to use our 5 steps. We're going to do it through application in each of these problems. So we'll play through all 5 steps on these ones, but we've got an application problem. So for each of these problems, when I get to one, I'm going to ask you to pause it, and I'd like you to set up the 2 equations first, and then you can press play and take a look at how you did, and then you can press pause and solve for them and press play to see how you did. So let's try it on this first one. So the first one, go ahead and press pause. You build your 2 equations and press play and see if ours match. How do you do? We might have our x and y's mixed up because the variables change. Go ahead and let's press pause and solve using elimination, and let's see if we match. All right, I'm going to work through this. And we did so. I can see that the y and the x are the 2 y's that cancel out. So I have 2x equals 26 divided by 2. X equals 13. So I have x, so I'm going to go ahead and substitute it in. I'm going to do that on the first one. So 13 plus y equals 21. Subtract 13 from both sides, and y equals 8. So according to this one, my intersection is at 13 and 8. The sum of 2 numbers is 21, and their differences, the 2 numbers should be 13 and 8. Let's try this next one. All right, why don't you press pause, build your equations, and let's see if we match. All right, I used the variables instead of x, y. I used p for pizza and s for sandwiches. These are my 2 equations. Once you go, again, press pause and do some elimination here to solve for pizzas and sandwiches. And ultimately, we're looking for the cost of the pizza. So make sure we answer the question we're looking for. Pause, 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 pause. All right, when I looked at this one, I see that I can get rid of the piece, but I'm going to have to multiply everything by 2. So I'm going to take this, not that whole thing. Oh, it's not going to let me do that. So I'm going to multiply all of that by 2, or it's more of the subtraction principle. So my second equation turns into negative 3p minus 7s equals a negative 41.5. And my first equation, I'm going to rewrite it again. I'm going to stack them, line them up. Now, that's what I want. Ready to solve. I can do some elimination here. Let's see where we at. Yeah, so that would be negative 3s equals 750 divided by negative 3 s equals 250. I'm going to go back and look at my negatives here. Okay, I just want to make sure I have them all. First one's the negative. Yep, that looks right. So it seems like the sandwiches are negative 250. Oh, that's because up here, this 750 is also negative, so it's positive. That'd be crazy if, like, I paid $2.50 to get a sandwich, or like they paid me to get it. That's what it was originally saying. But sandwiches are $2.50. So as I just reminded myself, we gotta pay attention to those negatives. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my sandwich price to find my pizza price. So I'm gonna use 3p plus 4 plus 4 times 250 to get my 34. 3p plus 10 equals 34 minus 10, so 3p is 24 divided by 3. My pizza price is 24 divided by 3, which is 8. And that's ultimately what I'm looking for, is the price of pizza. So I can do all the math here, but I gotta make sure I'm answering the question that's being asked. And that's reasonable for this one. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Once you press pause, build your 2 equations and check how you did. All right, my 2 equations for this one are be x plus y equals 92, and then y equals 11x minus 4. I'm going to change this one though, so that I can use it, to negative 11x plus y equals negative 4, and then ends up being x plus y equals 92. But you know, I want to cancel out something here, so let's cancel out the y's. You know what, I'm going to do this one, so I get rid of my negative 11. So it becomes 11x minus y equals 4. And then my top equation, I'm going to rewrite so I can see it. So here's my system that I'm solving for. Those cancel out, so I end up with 12x. Yeah, that's right, 12x equals 96. Divide by 12. So we can see that x is 8. Now that I know x is 8, I can substitute it in. 8 plus y equals 92. Subtract 8 from both sides. Y equals 84. So my intersection is at 884 of my system, but the two numbers is 8 and 84. All right, press pause, build your equations, and see how you did. Here's my two equations. Marcy, so triple the s minus the 84. All right, once you go ahead and solve this system, see what we come up with. Now remember, the question is how much money does Marcy have, so make sure you're answering that question. All right, I took my first equation and moved everything around so I can stack them nicely. I'd see that I have a positive m in one equation and a positive m in the second equation, so I am going to do some multiplying. I'm going to go ahead and do this. It's kind of our subtraction method, but it's also multiplying by 1. So I'm going to restack it here down below. So that becomes 3s minus m equals 84. So here's my two equations that I'm going to be solving for. And these canceling out. So I have 4 s's equal to 16. Divide by 4. And s ends up equaling 54. And I'm going to use that and substitute it in. 54 plus m equals 132 minus 54. M equals 78. So look at my question here is how much money does Marcy have? She has $78. All right, well there you go. I am going to go and carve some doll furniture out of cheese.